Hello, everyone. My episode today is called Godzilla Raids Again in 1955. An hour and 22-minute horror sci-fi released May 21st, 1959 in the good old US of A. Here's a storyline. Fishing scouts, pilots, are startled to discover a new monster named Anguirus alongside a second Godzilla. The monsters make their way towards Osaka as Japan can only brace for the tragedy and relieve the horror of Godzilla once more. Directed by Motoyoshi Oda and Ishirô Honda. Now, one thing I will say about the second Godzilla movie of the franchise. Of course, it's black and white, and yes, this time it's English dubbed. I did not have to read. Thank God. This movie it's weird. The Godzillas in the 50s are so weird. When I say weird is you really have to focus on what they're doing because you can get lost real quick if you're not paying attention. Movie starts off with two pilots. Their job is to search for fish, however. And the one guy, his plane had engine trouble, and he had to crash land on his island. Not crash land, but he landed, whatever. The guy's telling the story is the other pilot. So it feels like I'm watching the Waltons sometimes, because I'm listening to him to try to get an idea of what's going on. So he goes and finds him, and he lands, and they go on the island, and they hear this noise. It was Godzilla and this creature called Anguirus. He's like a stegosaurus to an extent. So they're fighting on the island, right? And they fell into the water, so they had an opportunity to get in their planes and fly back to Osaka. They get to Osaka, and they're telling these people about what they saw. And one of the things that I get confused is all they mentioned was Anguirus. Godzilla never came up in the conversation. Of course, they call it something else. I can't remember what it was. Whatever. So, more of the story here is these dinosaurs. Well, not dinosaurs. Take it back. Anguirus and Godzilla starts coming closer to Japan. And what I find humorous and I absolutely fucking loved is when Godzilla and Anguirus were fighting, they literally were fighting. The camera's back, you can see them fighting. And it was so cool to see because when we come into the 60s Godzillas, it's a whole different ballpark. So you can tell it's 1955. I just really, really enjoyed that. And of course, Godzilla defeats Anguirus, bites him on the neck, and now Godzilla's all pissed off, and once again, he destroys freaking Osaka. Smashing buildings, fire. They keep shooting at the Godzilla. You're not going to kill him with anything, It was really cool. I mean, it starts off roughly after the first one, and it's just neat. I just think the 50s movies are way different. Obviously, it's obvious. I take that back. It's dumb. The 50s have their own way because technology was not there. And you can tell, obviously, there's a person in each one of them fighting. But from a far back distance, it was like two drunks fighting. I thought it was so funny and so cool because it's different than the later on Godzilla's where Godzilla's fighting someone. So, end result, Godzilla leaves and goes back home. Well, okay, possibly. So he leaves, and then all of a sudden, it's quiet. There's no Godzilla. They're trying to rebuild. And then people move their businesses to somewhere else. The story continues on again. So now they decide to go to the island and to find Godzilla and try and get him to, knock him into the volcano, And then one of the guys that was rescued, tries to kill Godzilla, and he ends up getting killed. Everyone's sad. Godzilla, when he's ginormous, gigantus, what the hell else they called him, his 1 minute it's the Godzilla roar, and the next minute it's not. It was like really weird. I'm trying to think, is it Godzilla or is it not Godzilla? What the fuck is going on here? So what they did is they went and looked for him, and they found him on the island. And what I thought about this island was it was snowing. There was snow everywhere. And I thought it was cool to see Godzilla in snow. So what their plan was, since you can't kill it, is to bury him alive with snow. So they start shooting the mountains, and the snow is called avalanches, and eventually the snow covers them up, and that's how the movie ended. So that being said, it was cool to see Godzilla with snow, because you don't see it ever again, at least from what I've seen so far. So definitely check it out. It's well worth a watch. I mean, Godzilla looks way different in the 50s than he does now. If you can get past that, you can get past anything. So there you go, folks. Definitely check it out. You can catch it on Tubi. You can catch it on Plex. All bunch of places you can watch it. But do yourself a favor. Watch the English dub, unless you like to read. This is Gruesome Herzog, and I'm out of here.